Look at that luscious cape, man. Just look how luscious that is. Honestly, I would have to say, if I was Batman and I had this cape, I would probably feel the same way females feel when they use L'Oreal on their hair. Oh, that is beautiful. What the heck is up, you guys? Animated Heroes here, back with another action figure review, and this time we are going to be taking a look at the Dark Knight Trilogy Mafex number 49 Batman Begins action figure. This is my first review of 2018, and I'm excited for this figure because I've been waiting for it since it released, so let's go ahead and get into it. Now, as you guys can see, I've already busted this guy open and played with him, and it's not because I was impatient, because I usually review my figures straight out of the box, but it is because I've actually already done this review. I had some issues since I started using my mic recently, and the sound quality was just not the way I wanted it to sound in the first review, which sucks because I did the entire thing. But I mean, I'm still so hyped to be having this. It really doesn't bother me to have to do this review over. It's kind of just like me getting started for something brand new, so I'm really excited about it. But with that said, before we get into the figure, of course, we've got one thing to check out, and that is that sexy packaging. So let's go ahead and take a look at that first. Now, for the packaging, it's the same thing that we normally get with Mafex and their Dark Knight figures. We got the Dark Knight Trilogy right there at the top, Mafex number 49. Cool image of Batman right there. Batman Begins suit action figure right there. Cool image of him holding the Batarang. I really like that. On the side, nothing special, just an image of him right there. It is the same thing on the top if you flip that around. Then on this side, you got him in a cool fighting pose. I really dig that. On the bottom, all this stuff that doesn't really matter. And of course, on the back, you got a whole bunch of poses that you can get them into, along with the same information we've already seen a million times written on their packaging. So with that said, let's go ahead and take a look at the figure. Now, I would say straight out of the packaging, but this isn't straight out of the packaging since I've already been playing with it. I honestly think that this figure is pretty dope. Now, it's very plain, and before I even get into the review of it, I'm going to say if you have the SH Figure Arts Dark Knight Rises, or even the Mafex version of the Dark Knight, you really don't need this guy unless you're just a completionist like me. When it comes to Batman, every awesome suit that they make a good figure of him in, I am going to buy it, just because Batman is my most favorite hero ever. I grew up on him, so everything Batman I pretty much have to have. But for you guys who aren't completionists, you don't have to have this. But I will say mine turned out a whole lot better than some others, because some people have some really bad face sculpts on this guy, but to be honest, mine is extremely decent, and there's really a whole lot I like about this guy, which I'll get into more later. But the texturing of the suit is extremely nice. The different color shades of black they use to color it, it's all nice. Even though this suit is extremely plain compared to the others, they did a wonderful job on it, and this figure actually has a whole lot of features that I really do like about it. So with that said, I'll put him back, show you guys how tall he stands, and we will get into the rest of that. Now, to the top of his head, Batman stands about 6.3 inches, which makes him really tall, and I'd say about 6.5 to the top of his horn. So he is a pretty tall figure, and that's one thing that I really dig, because it makes Batman a whole lot more intimidating. And for the most part, he's always been known to be pretty tall, about 6 feet at least. So that's one thing I really dig about this figure. Now, for articulation, Batman can look up only about that much, which it isn't good depending on the angle you get him in, simply because of this gap right here at the neck. That makes it look pretty bad. But I mean, I guess that's all they had to work with on this one, because the cowl is attached to the neck, as you guys can see here. And it's just this whole piece right here. Like, the head does not turn at all. This is all glued together. And they did that pretty much because I guess they wanted it to be like it is in the movie, where he cannot turn his head at all. He has to turn his whole body. And I mean, I'm fine with it. It works as long as you've got it in the right pose. He does have a really good diaphragm joint. Goes forward, back that much. He does have a waist swivel, which is amazing. His arms, it's a slight butterfly joint. It's not much, but you can move them forward and back just a little bit. Swivel right there at the bicep. Double jointed elbows, which is good. It's right at about 90 degrees, but I mean, it's cool since he has on armor. You can move his hand around pretty much however you want, but of course be careful because of these. I really wish they would get into using ball pegs because I do not like this joint. They just seem like they're always going to break. Before the arms, his articulation is pretty good. His foot goes out that far, and he can do the splits about that much, and that's as far as you can get it just about, because this right here is its own separate piece, and I don't want to scratch that or mess it up. He does have the drop down leg method, of course. His foot doesn't go back but about that much. He does have double jointed knees, which is really good. The articulation there is awesome. I dig that. But anyway, go down about that much. His foot goes up about that much. And as you guys can see, he does have a toe hinge. So when it comes to articulation, he is pretty good. And one thing I will say is Figma is starting to up their plastic, because this one feels a whole lot better than the 2.0 Dark Knight that I had that felt extremely fragile. This one feels fragile, but it's not nearly as bad as that one. So I really do think they're getting better. I just not the biggest Mafex fan because I've had too many issues with them. So I don't know how many I'll buy. Now, one thing that I really dig about this figure is what all you can do with the cape. I honestly believe that's what made me want to buy this, but the fact that it has this bendy wire in it that can make it sit up about that high, that is extremely cool. Like, I honestly don't think we've got a Batman figure where the cape can look this good windswept, and it's extremely long, which is another thing I dig. Like, Batman with an extremely cool cape is something that I love, and the fact that they made him in this costume with this cape, it's just awesome, man. Like, I could fanboy over this figure simply because of some of its features all day if I wanted to. And of course, it is obviously much better than that atrocious NECA figure that I'm sure we all go to Toys R Us and see for $19.99 that none of us want to buy. So yeah, if you want him in this costume, I will go ahead and say I do recommend it, but I'll talk more about that a little bit later on. Now, for his accessories, as you guys can see, he comes with the default face, the normal smug Batman look, a pair of 2 fist hands, which is what he needs. Every Batman slash action figure needs those. He comes with a pair of stylish type hands, kind of like he's getting ready to attack or go in for an attack, which he needs. He comes with a pair of Batarang holding hands, which all of these are molded in black. They're not the best looking, but I mean, well, sculpt wise, but they're pretty plain for the most part. But I mean, hey, they work. So's the entire suit anyway. And he comes with a pair of trigger hands, which are for the grapple gun, which is right here. It looks cool. I think it's the same one that we got from the Dark Knight Batman. And I mean, the paint work on this one is extremely clean. That's one thing I give them. I love the gold, silver, and black. I really think that they did a nice job with it. So I am impressed. Now, one thing I will say is this right here, the Batarang, is probably, it's my least favorite accessory. He comes with 3 of them, but these things are extremely small, and I have carpet in my room, so if I drop these, I'm not going to find them until I vacuum, and of course I'm not going to be getting them back then. So yeah, if you plan on posing him with these, be extremely careful. Next up, he comes with another thing that I like, which is an alternate chest piece where you can change him out and put him in his outfit from when he was training with Ra's al Ghul. And to do that, it's pretty simple. All you do is pop off the head, you lift this piece right here, and as you can see, it is a magnet, and you just put it on like that. And of course, he comes with his Christian Bale head, which, I mean, it kind of looks like Christian Bale. I think they did a good job sculpt-wise, but for some reason they decide they always want to make these figures with alternate head sculpts look like they've been sitting out in the sun all day, and they're all this orangish color. But you pop that on, and mine is not going on. I don't want to force it too much, but I'm just gonna put it on there to where it sits for right now. But that's pretty much how it looks. It's okay, decent, I'd say. I'm probably not gonna be posing in much with that, but yeah, that's what it looks like. Now, for some size comparisons, here he is standing next to the Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice Armored Batman. Both of these are from Mafex, by the way, and of course the Nightmare Batman. And I want to say they're both just a hair taller than him, not very much, but they look awesome together, and I am happy to have all of these in my collection. Next up, here he is standing next to the Mafex Bank Robber Joker and the SH Figure Arts Dark Knight Batman. And it's funny standing these two Batman next to each other because I realized just how much the SH Figure Arts is actually better. Like, the belt looks better, the paint on it looks better, and of course the face sculpt looks a whole lot more like Christian Bale, even on that slight part of the mask. So, I mean, if you don't have them next to each other, you're not comparing them, but man, when you see them next to each other, it's pretty crazy. Now, lastly, here he is standing next to the Marvel legend I Don't Know Who, and of course one of the bank robber Joker thugs from, I believe it's Mattel. Don't quote me on that. I don't know the brand of these guys. I just bought them. But yeah, as you can see, he's still taller than both of these guys, so he definitely has some size to him, which is awesome. I think he will look really good in some photos. Now, my final thoughts on this figure are exactly what I said before. He is pretty plain, but that doesn't take away from how good he looks. I am definitely going to enjoy having this figure in my collection. Honestly, I think this suit, though it's a whole lot less detailed, actually looks better than the Dark Knight costume. And I don't know, I really do dig it. This guy was made nicely, and it's just showing that Mafex is starting to improve slowly. And one thing I forgot to mention is that he does have swivel right here. I think I forgot to mention that in articulation. So yeah, that's another plus. But I just really think this figure is awesome, man. I enjoy it a whole lot. I know I'm gonna enjoy posing it. I love how they did the matte on the body, on the black, and then it's kind of a little bit more metallic black when it comes to the boots and the gloves, and of course the cowl and the cape. Man, the cape is like the #1 reason I bought this figure, if you guys want me to be honest. When I saw the reviews of how this cape was being posed, I was like, yeah, I gotta have it in my collection. And to have this guy, I'm gonna have to dust my shelves off because I do not want a whole bunch of dust on this luscious cape. So yeah, like I said, it's not a figure you have to have, but I mean, if you are a completionist when it comes to Batman and the Dark Knight, go ahead and pick it up. He is a bit pricey. I got him from Xavier Cal Customs. Hit that guy up, man. He has this guy for an awesome price. I paid $65 to get it shipped, and that was like 2 days shipping. I got it quickly. So yeah, hit him up if you want it. Anyway, like I said, that's my review. Hope you guys like it. If so, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. That always helps me out. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and of course follow me on everything you see listed in the description below. First review of 2018, and I can't wait for more. Hopefully you guys can't. I can't wait to see how many subscribers I can pick up this year and how my channel can grow. But with that said, Animated Heroes out. Peace.